But he isn't a gag character, remember. And if at this point you claim he is, then the debate's over, okay? Gag wins. But we're not dealing with that. But I think from the information we were given from his anime, his abilities are more likely to be some sort of superpower rather than a result of, 12 push-ups and he hulks out. So
actually, it's not. In fact, you clearly never read the fucking manga or the webcomic, which clearly point out that the reason why from that regimen that he got so strong is because everyone plateaus. Every human being plateaus. We have a limit. All right? You could do as many push-ups as you want, but eventually you'll reach a stopping point. You'll reach something that you cannot surpass. And he won't get any stronger. Saitama broke that limiter by doing this regimen for 3 years straight. He managed to somehow break his human limiter, his human barriers. Sorry guys, I got the hiccups or something. Excuse me. He managed to break his human limits, break through his human barrier that would have plateaued him, and thus is why he is so exponentially as strong as he is. Because it's not that he has limitless power or limitless strength, it's because he has ever-growing strength or ever-growing powers. I mean, he can get as strong as he wants. Why? Because he surpassed that limiter that said that he couldn't. That would have stopped him from getting any stronger than, a peak physical condition human. Like, you even look at other characters like Captain America, who did drugs in order to be able to do it. Or, fucking Goku and Krillin. When they were in Dragon Ball, they pushed past what was natural or normal for the human body to be able to do. They pushed past. They broke through their limiter. I mean, well, Goku is a Saiyan, so it's a little bit different from him. But at the time, he was considered basically human as much. But, it works mainly for Krillin. So Krillin broke past his limiter too and became superhuman. All right, he broke past what a normal human would be able to do. Saitama did the same thing. Through, yes, a ridiculous training regimen. But it happened. That's the whole point. So it's not, he has some type of superpower or whatever. No, it's from him doing push-ups and sit-ups like that and then surpassing his limiter, which allowed him to go exponentially stronger from just doing that regimen. Clearly, you've never read the manga, you never did the red comic, you've never seen the anime. I mean, obviously, if you say something this stupid, this is why Chuck was right with his comment about how ridiculous that a lot of these points that he makes in his video are, and we're about halfway through this. We're in 6 minutes, but I digress. Let's continue.
So, fact is, we can't know his alleged limits, if he has any, if we don't understand what we're trying to limit, and we don't understand why he's so strong.
Okay, we do know what we're trying to limit, and we do understand why he's so strong. Now, Saitama may be able to just grow infinitely stronger, like with Goku and them, because, it's constantly said, and this is an outlier, it's constantly said by many characters in the series and pointed out by many characters in the series that Saiyans basically have the same ability. That they can grow infinitely, they can grow exponentially and infinitely with no real limit cap to how much stronger they can get. And once they reach something that may seem like their limit, they can surpass it and grow even stronger. It's the same thing with Saitama. But of course, you don't seem to understand this.
So now let's get into theory, because this is why I think he's so strong. You remember the guy from Saitama's backstory? He was a guy who liked crab so much he would do anything to get crab. All of a sudden he became a crab monster. So on and so forth for almost every single human that obtains abilities in the series. And if you look, most heroes don't actually have powers. Genos upgrades himself, and some guys learn kung fu or get cool swords. So those people have quantifiable power levels, being that we understand the source of their power is they have a cannon strapped to their butt, or they're epic at jujitsu. Yes. Okay, we understand the source of Saitama's power. I don't get what you're not getting about this. A guy, he just pointed out that this human and this car monster, they don't have any superpowers. Like he's trying to point out with Saitama. Like Saitama has a power or something like that. No! He essentially just trained, broke through his limiter as a human, and now can grow exponentially stronger. He's not, however, limitless. He can just grow. He's ever growing. Saitama wanted to become the strongest, most unstoppable force in the universe so badly, he was just like Crab Guy. Crab Guy wanted crabs, he became a crab monster. Car Guy wanted cars, he became a car monster. Saitama wanted to be the strongest, so he became the strongest.
But, it's the same thing like with the Crab Guy. The dude just ate so much crab and then became a crab man. That's it. That's a soft, weak backstory. He just became a crab man. That's it. That's how it works. That's That's the universe. I just don't get it. I don't get what he's not understanding. That's where the source of his power comes from. We understand where the source of Saitama's power comes from. He trained a lot. Genos, he's a cyborg. He upgrades himself. Bon, he trained in Kung Fu. Atomic Samurai, has a fancy sword. The car dude, I guess he liked cars. The crab guy ate a lot of crab. That's how it works.
This is further proven by Garo in the manga, but I don't want to be spoiling stuff, but that guy wants to be the greatest villain, so he became the greatest villain, and became the second strongest character in the entire series after Saitama, who wanted to be the strongest ever. So he became the strongest ever. Number value for strongest is technically just enough to decimate any opponent in one punch. Yes, I'm claiming that to be his actual superpower, and therefore we cannot assign a number value to him.
Hey, moron! Fucking moron!
Actually, we can, although we don't necessarily know, because Saitama does work in percentiles, as he does have a difference between his normal series and his series, which means that he has an upgraded format between the way he accesses his power, where his series will be him utilizing his actual power or his full power, some percentile of his full power. Obviously, he's still holding back. And trying to use the definition of the strongest as a limiter to say that, well, if you have the title of the world's strongest, I see the little movie up there. If you have the title of the world's strongest, that means that you could just decimate anybody and stuff like that. I mean, no one's going to be able to beat you. So he's taking it at face value, not understanding the true meaning behind when somebody says the strongest, because you could be the strongest for a certain amount of time. Like, if you became champion of a martial arts, that means you were stronger than all those guys that you beat. You're the strongest. I mean, that's why you were able to become champion, because you're the strongest, you're the best. And somebody comes along and then beats you, now they're the strongest and they're the best. That's how it works. It's very, very simple. Very understandably simple. And again, Saitama has not been able to just one-punch anyone away, and no, that isn't his superpower. No, that's not his gag. I mean, like, what did I tell you guys? He's basically saying that, no, I'm not going to use the gag thing, but he basically is a gag character. Because his superpower, or gag, is to be able to one-punch anyone and absolutely just much something, which is untrue, but let's continue on.
Which is why he can also never take damage no matter what comes at him, and that's why he's completely unaffected by any attack.
No, he does not. It's not that he can tank damage from whatever comes at him. He's never fought anybody who could truly damage him to a point where he's like, oh crap, I'm bleeding, I'm dying or whatever. That's the difference. Goku has fought people like that. Goku has fought people at that level. But it's the same thing. You stick Goku in Saitama's universe, it'd basically be the same thing. He'd be Saitama in that universe. He would never take any damage because every foe that Saitama fights, we have been able to determine their level based off of their feats and stuff like that, and what they're capable of doing, and what they're shown at their strongest form, and why it was never able to hurt him, or hurt Saitama. So the same could be said for somebody who's at Goku's level, because if all of Saitama's opponents, led up to, only his strongest foes only being at, this level or whatever, and then we've seen Goku already surpass that level, then there's no reason to say that he would not be like Saitama and then just one-shot that person. But I digress, let's continue on.
For example, he was in space, which is at minus 455 degrees Fahrenheit, he was totally fine. He was on the light side of the moon, which is over 250 degrees Fahrenheit, he was totally fine. I believe that to be the most likely explanation for his strength.
That he went to the moon and he was fine? That's what you think makes his strength? Okay. Let's continue.
And part 3 of my video thing also helps me believe that this is the truth, but there's also evidence that he can unknowingly warp reality, and that's some form of superpower he possesses.
Yeah, not a gag, but he's basically a gag. And no, he cannot unknowingly or knowingly warp reality. I don't know where you got that from, but don't worry, he's going to explain it.
Which is why he can punch and make circular holes in mountains, which is completely scientifically impossible, by the way. Or when he punches and his fist stops right in front of Genos, it blows Genos' hair back. Genos is totally fine, but it also decimates a mountain pass behind him.
Ah, yes, why he can punch and make circular holes in mountains. I guess that means Tien can unknowingly warp reality as well, right? Because, he was able to turn fucking triangles into squares.
Where tomorrow brings a new day. It's time to learn the pain is game. Ready, fire!
Huh. All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. I'm just saying, guys, this is a retarded argument. warping reality because he can punch away a mountain? Okay, so he has mountain level reality warping. That would not affect Dragon Ball. Frieza, with the flick of his wrist, obliterated an entire mountain range. Saitama didn't even obliterate the mountain range, he just punched a hole down the middle of it. But, apparently those guys can now warp reality because, well, according to real-world physics and science, which obviously would limit them, am I right? Dictate said, well, you can't do that. You can't just blow up a mountain range with the flick of your wrist. You can't do that. That's not possible. With a punch, you can't turn triangles into squares. That's not possible. But, yeah, sure. I digress. Let's continue.
As well as why Saitama's suit seems to also be indestructible no matter what temperatures or attacks it buffs through.
No, it's not. Again, the suit has been destroyed before, but, you know, I know you don't watch the series or read the manga or anything like that. I already know that, so, but, yeah. Let's continue on.
It's a viable theory, too. I prefer my first one personally. Not that it really matters for this debate, because either of these two possibilities far outclass anyone that has a quantifiable power level, i.e. Goku.
Okay, so somehow he's trying to suggest that Tien from Dragon Ball Z during the Android saga, and I guess you can kind of consider it halfway to Cell saga. I mean, it was semi-perfect Cell that he was going up against, because he unknowingly warped reality by doing stuff that you should not be able to scientifically or possibly be able to do. Obviously means that Tien is limitless and could instantly one-shot any version of Goku. Tien's just been holding back the entire time. He's been just dicking around. Like, during Tournament Power, he's just dicking around. He could have instantly one-shot everybody on the field. Why? Because, well, he can defy reality by turning triangles into squares.
Yes, I love it! He's got nothing!
Unknowingly warp reality, and that would defeat anyone with a set power level, right? Right? Yeah, that'll defeat anyone who, so if you're a Starbuster and a Mountain Buster tries to fight you, well, if their punch makes a circular shape in that mountain, they can obviously defeat you. Somehow. I mean, they're not at your level, but they can somehow defeat you. Because their punch defied the laws of physics. I mean, you defy the laws of physics too by being able to, like, let's say you can consume stars or, destroy them by by punching. You can literally punch a star and then make a triangle in it through your punch, which would defy physics. It defies laws. It warps reality. I mean, obviously, Saitama still beat you because, well, I guess he could punch a circle in a mountain? Okay. Brilliant. You know what? Naktaku, man, you know what? Brilliant. I can't believe I didn't think of that before. Absolutely amazing. Let's continue on, guys.
But even if you don't like these theories, which is cool, I guess you're gonna need to come up with a reasoning behind his powers because push-ups ain't gonna cut it. You can't stick him in a hypothetical cage match with anyone if you don't understand the core of his strength.
Actually, we do have a reasoning behind his powers. Again, the manga, every canon source material explains why he is the way he is and how strong he is. It explains why. But apparently you just ignore that and say, well, you're going to need to come up with... They already did. It's my point. I'm put it on screen again. I already put it up in the earlier video, and it'll be down in the description below. But, here you go. Here you go again on my own. I know it's not the song, but, yeah. Let's continue.
And thirdly, philosophically. And I can already hear Seth laughing at me in his debunking video of mine since we're supposed to be power scaling here, but no, we're not.
No, we're not supposed to be power scaling. In fact, nothing you've really said has been a dictate to power scaling. If anything, you've just said that, well, power scaling doesn't work here, apparently because real-world science dictates how everything should go and there is no power scaling. But whatever. And it's not just Seth that's laughing at you. It's everyone that's laughing at you because this video is atrocious. Now, I know you got... I read your comment section. I know you got your fans here who are either as simple-minded as you or really just don't want to disagree with you because, well, they like your content so much, which is understandable. You're going to get some fans like that. I mean, true fans would open up your eyes to reality regardless of how they felt about you, but, you can't expect everyone to do that. So, I guess we're just going to continue on here and talk about why, philosophically, Saitama beats Goku. I mean, basically, I don't really need to continue because he just explains that the philosophy behind Saitama is that he can one-punch anyone, essentially saying, again, that he's a gag character. And basically, that's why he beats Goku. Because, philosophically, it would defeat the whole purpose of his anime if he lost the fight. Right. But I guess we can just continue on a little bit here, and you guys get to hear the philosophy. I'll let you guys hear it, and just continue on.
You're the power scaler, you have a lot more experience in the scaling field, and I respect you for it. I occasionally disagree with your opinions. I mean, no way Kisami's beating the second Hokage, but you're a lot better at it than I am. All the power to you.
Dude, judging by this video, you're not an expert in any form of scaling, or understanding people's powers, or knowing how another character would beat another character. Please, just stop. Stick to what you're good at. It's clearly not this. Stick to what you're good at. I'm sorry, I know I rambled on this. This is probably like an hour worth of recording, so I'll cut some of it back. But I just wanted to get the main points across. But let's continue.
I do anime decoded videos where I analyze the philosophy behind anime, and I never claimed all my reasonings here were gonna be purely power scale based.
Well, that also should have been tagged with that you're never going to claim any of your reasonings here are going to be logic-based either. Because they, weren't. But, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from this. His fan club is going to come over and say, yo, you're debunked because of this. And, I welcome the challenge. I absolutely welcome it. And he's going to bring up a little bit later with, Stephen Crowder, the whole change my mind. I welcome it. Because, like with my Ben 10, when I went in the comment section just debunking, plebs, over and over again, I welcome you. I'm going to put it in my description, change my mind. Alright, prove to me how anything he said is true, at all.
Let's study the philosophy behind One Punch Man in regards to his immense power. I still plan to give the series its full decoded video since One Punch Man Beneath the Goofy Surface is one of the most philosophically complex anime I've seen. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested, but let's try to tackle the why behind Saitama's OP awesomeness. He's in a series with constantly escalating threats like we've seen in most shonens, where we started off with tough fights for civilians, moved up for tough fights for some heroes, and then some S-class heroes, and then planetary and beyond, as especially we've seen in the manga. All the while, working up Saitama's excitement. Maybe he can still get that thrill he wanted when he first became a hero. And then it's immediately extinguished because it poses absolutely zero challenge whatsoever, regardless of how powerful it seems in regard to the previous villain. That's the series, and that's the main purpose of the One Punch Man story.
Alright, you guys can watch the rest of the video. I'm basically done. I know you guys probably have cancer. You're wanting to get to the hospital as quick as you can, but if you want, you can watch the rest of the video. Now, the psychological part of it, like a lot of this, I could agree with. The psychology behind it. I mean, he does go a little bit in depth, but like I said, it's basically just, you know, as he's explaining here, that Saitama just has immense power and that he'll never have anyone who could be able to ever challenge him. Sure, but yeah. I guess I'll just be catch you guys in the next one then. Links in the description below. And go follow this guy. Go follow him.
Yo, all you sucker MCs ain't got nothing on me. From my grades to my lines, you can't touch Kevin G. I'm a mathlete, so nerd isn't first, but forget what you heard. I'm like James Bond III, shaking, not stirred. I'm Kevin the Poor. The G silent when I sneak in your door. I make love to your woman on the bathroom floor. I don't play it like Shaggy. You'll know it was me, cause the next time you see her, she'll be like, Kevin G.